What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Today we're going to be doing a video on why is there a difference with the Millennium Falcon in the Han Solo movie. I've heard some different things, some different stuff like, it was Lando's before, so it looks a little bit different, which I think answers the inside. The question though on the inside is, if this movie is 10 years before, how did Han Solo get it so filthy from basically like spotless white clean as Lando had it to just destroyed later on? Mr. Sunday's movie made some humorous remarks on it, but it's kind of baffling that it goes that bad. I want to jump to, this is a screw up by Lucasfilm, but hey, maybe Han modifies and, he's just more of a messy guy. I don't know. I'm not. So it's interesting though to see it so clean in such a short amount of time. And then also, I believe it's Revenge of the Sith, you see a shot of the Falcon and it doesn't look as clean, and I'm pretty sure the nose piece isn't on there either. So maybe Lando got it after that and cleaned it up. Have to work out exactly how that functions, but it's definitely much newer and much nicer. It must have been, Lando seemed to really obviously care about the Falcon, so maybe he just made it look a lot cleaner and nicer because that's his style, and he's got to impress everybody around with his awesome ship. And then Han uses it more as to be able to smuggle and have his job, and he doesn't care what you think. Maybe it's even better. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's even better if it's run down a little bit. The Empire, whoever else, doesn't pay as much attention to the old rundown raggedy ship. The big thing that everyone's talking about though with it is mainly the front nose, that the pincers, that there's no gap there anymore. And a comment from, I'm gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry, but from Edwin Sujker I'm sorry, I told you I was gonna butcher it. First name Edwin, commented in one of my breakdowns of the Solo trailer that the rumors were that that's the cargo that's mentioned. That's where they hold the cargo at the front of the ship. And with the mention in A New Hope where Jabba's after him, he says, hey, everyone's got to drop some cargo from time to time, that this is what that is. Whether we'll see that here or later, he said that he believed that it could, in later comments discussion, that he believed it could happen. I feel like it shouldn't happen yet because it's too far away from A New Hope, and it seems like he's just getting into the smuggling world with what we're seeing in the movie. And I think that the movie will end with him starting to work with Jabba, as opposed to him getting a job. I don't think he's going to work with this crew, and then you're going to go through the whole issue with the crew, and then he starts working with Jabba all in this movie. I feel like that's too much, but he'll end up working with Jabba. I think there'll be a reference, though, where they're going to move something or do something, and maybe Lando will say, like, hey, put everything in this cargo hold up in the front. That's where I store all the stuff when we're smuggling, or something along those lines, to hint to that the big hardcore fans will then put out videos and say that's why it's gone, because he dropped the cargo that was in the front of the nose when it was, he was being chased by Imperials to be able to get away. Because again, that's one of the biggest pieces that's missing, that, if we saw them hide down in the floors, but he couldn't drop that. So maybe when it was on something that's a little bigger, he carried it in the front and had to drop that. And then it's never really used as a smuggling ship again, so he never gets another piece to fix it to, have the front and back how it was before. So possibly speaking, the Falcon almost never looked the way we've known it throughout all the movies. It was never like that for most of its life, except for actually it was. Maybe Lando added that after Revenge of the Sith, where we see it flying in kind of, as an Easter egg. Maybe Lando added that. Maybe he's been working with this crew because it seems like he's connected with Emilia Clarke's character, Kira. And it seems like when he says putting a team together, maybe he's kind of been smuggling as well. He's not just the gambler, he's a smuggler as well, but he kind of plays off the high class a little bit more than like a Han Solo does. We'll see. Those are a lot of speculations, but I believe the cargo thing at the front of the ship is probably pretty solid. You can comment down below, tell me what you think on that one. Again, Edwin was the one that brought it up. I want to make sure that, you know, I don't try to steal credit from him, because I definitely didn't come up with that on myself. Sorry about your last name. I can't pronounce it. I apologize. I truly am sorry. The other thing that was with the ships that was kind of thought of or mentioned, there was a, you know, little comment about the little speeder, land speeder type ship that they're flying at the beginning, or, you know, not flying, but Han and Kira, that the back end looks like a Ford Falcon, which is a reference to Harrison Ford and the Millennium Falcon, which is interesting, but we don't know too much about that. The one ship that I mentioned in my breakdown, and why I wanted to kind of add this in here with this, is the ties that we see being released underneath the Star Destroyer, when it looks like probably the Kessel Run, and they're in that kind of cloud. That I called it a tie bomber because the tie bombers had 2 holes in between, but one hole's too small. Now, some people have speculated that this is like a training tie. I don't feel like that's correct. I get the thought process because Han's talking about joining Flight Academy, but it seems to suggest he doesn't even make it out of the Academy. Plus, if you see later on in the second, more extended teaser trailer, that tie is actually chasing after the Millennium Falcon. And then someone else mentioned that they think it had like a sensor array type thing that was able to allow everyone else to follow and make it through this nebulous kind of darker area. And so that's why it was the first one to be released and followed. I like that, but here's the information that just came out from Entertainment Weekly. And Entertainment Weekly has a pretty close relationship with Lucasfilm. And so when they put something out in an article like this, I kind of lean towards that it's probably correct. This is their breakdown of what happened in the Solo trailer. And the way they explain it is the extra pod housing is actually used to allow for more powerful cannons on the TIE, as opposed to your typical TIE fighter. This is a slight variation, but that's what that extra smaller hole is just to allow for a more powerful cannon. Is it 100%? Is it released by Star Wars? No, but it is released by Entertainment Weekly, that I think tends to have a little bit of a connection with them. And the fact that they said it seemingly so just sure of themselves makes me feel a little more sure. But again, take it with a grain of salt, but because that was another thing that was so discussed between fans on what it was, I wanted to add that little piece of information and the possibility. I love to hear your thoughts. Is there something maybe I miss? I don't think there's anything that was spoiled or released. I don't look at leaks or anything like that. I don't want that. I like to speculate as a fan, but I don't like to kind of have the extra stuff. And so I just put this out because I did do my breakdown, and these 2 things I didn't cover, and I thought there was some interesting information that's come out since then. If I get any more information, I will put it out as well. This will be just a quick little video. Very much interested in hearing your thoughts or any information that you might have. Please comment them down below. Also down below I have a link to my TeePublic page. I'll post my trailer breakdown and reactions, and then some other video. I don't know what it'll be. But thank you guys very much for watching. And never forget, you Nerf herders, I love you.